Ha! Oh yeah, this is the final fight. And so here is a look at what 30-year-old Guillermo del Toro when he was making this movie. And also there he is now. And this is Cronos, 1993. This is Guillermo del Toro's official movie, though I think he did some TV episodes, and he did do one thing, but it got destroyed. And I'm going to take a look. There's a YouTube video on it. We're going to look at that before we close out. Cronos. So, is it goth metal lore? It delves a little bit into fantasy with the scarab. It looks like the same scarab from the Blue Beetle superhero movie, doesn't it? It's about us Chicanos and scarabs and magic talismans. You know, we believe in all that stuff, right? Sacrificial artifacts of the Aztec Empire. But when I saw the first few minutes of this, and we're going to talk a little bit about the life of Guillermo del Toro. So this movie, it deals with immortality and the magic scarab. So when I first saw the first few minutes, it reminded me of Miguel de Cervantes, the author of Don Quixote in the 15th century, 16th century. And his body was moved somewhere like 10, 15 years ago, and then it got found. So I don't know what happened. It was found, discovered. So there's this alchemist from the 15th century, around the time of Shakespeare or Don Quixote, I don't remember. And he dies because he lived forever. He made a device. It's this mechanical beetle. It's like the gears of a clock, okay? It's got these mechanical legs. I guess the inspiration would be there used to be this old toy in which you open up a little wooden box, and in that little wooden box, you'd have a beetle in there, and the beetle would have these little dancy, springy legs. It would look like a moving beetle or a moving bug, but it's really just a little trick because it's on these little strings, and the strings are constantly moving because they're not stable strings. So that's why the legs look like they're moving. So I don't know if that's what inspired, but we'll get into his life. But this movie deals with an alchemist who dies even after he creates a bug that gives him immortality, and they find his body, his heart has been pierced. It's like the tale of Dracula almost. This is a not Dracula story. And you see Grandpa. So here are the casts. You got Federico Lupi as Jesus Gris, Jesus Gray, Jesus Gray, right? He starts out as this whimsical, photogenic grandpa with a mustache and like the toy maker, the watchmaker, the watch repairer, right? Antique store man, right? That grandpa everybody wishes they had. So you have him. Ron Perlman, Jesus, he's in his 70s? He is that old. Holy shit. He was in his 40s when he did this movie. And I remember he was going on about the don't say, I think he misinterpreted the don't say gay thing. I don't know what the hell. He was going too far left. Anyway. So he plays the heavy. There's a bad guy. So there's this uncle in the movie. So Ron Perlman plays the nephew, and the uncle wants to find, he's looking through all these angel statues for that gold beetle. And Federico Lupi, Jesus Gris, discovers the gold beetle, and it sticks to his body. It punctures his arm, and he gets the immortality boost. Yeah, Ron Perlman's still alive. These people have passed away. Claudio Brook, yeah, he plays the villain, I think. I believe it's implied that he's dying. I don't think we know what he's dying of, but he's been searching for that gold scarab to relieve him of his pain. It's like the fountain of youth. He's looking for that thing, and the Jesus has it, and it focuses on Jesus and his granddaughter, right? So it's a Dracula story because uh, at the cost of getting immortality, your skin turns marble white. You look like Saw from, was it Jigsaw from the Saw movies? You look like some weird, ugly old man, creepy old man, makeup, fake looking zombie guy. And you're not immune to sunlight like Dracula. You could burn in the sun. Margarito Isabel, who played the wife of Jesus, she's gone. And this is the coroner, I think, who puts the gum on his lapel and eats a banana, sitting on a gurney while the empty coffin burns in the cremation process. Uh, he's a silly coroner, that guy, but he looks completely different here, doesn't he? Uh, God, he's 63. God, he was much younger back then. Here you got the rest of the cast. You got Jorge Martinez de Hoyos as the narrator. You got Farnicio de Bernal as Manuelito. I don't know who that is. Mato Ivan Martinez as the alchemist. And Tamara Shanath as Aurora Grease. She kind of looked like Punky Brewster a little bit. Assuming she was like maybe 9 or 10, let's say 10 back then in 92. She'd be in her 40s. She'd be my age, I think. Or actually, maybe about 4 years younger. She'd probably be in her early 40s. So there's some great moments where Grandpa Jesus is like licking the blood off the bathroom floor. He gets his head kicked in by Ron Perlman. And before that, there's some guys like he goes to take a shit. He comes out like he's not fully pants, right? He's got boxers on, but he's like he walks out of the bathroom like it's his house, right? Typical Chicano behavior. And so when he sees blood on the sink, because somebody was bleeding like from their mouth, and that got Jesus. Because remember, he's like Dracula. He likes to get blood, and he hates the sunlight. So even in the on the poster, he looks like Dracula, right? But he starts off as this nice old grandpa who's like Werther's Originals or maybe some ribbon candy or that coconut type candy you get at El Super in East LA. You get that cheap candy from Mexico. Like he's just that nice old grandpa who speaks in Spanish and is on his rocking chair and does nice stuff. And then he goes from that to Dracula. It's an amazing transformation that I like. I mean, rest in peace, but a lot of these actors are gone. Um, but what great performances! And so the fat dude comes out of the bathroom stall, sees the blood that somebody else left, and just like pushes it like it's like you're pushing like rubber eraser residue or breadcrumbs off the sink. It's like that is something that we would probably do. Anybody who sees blood is like gonna panic or you know talks to the manager or talks to the employer. Oh, there's blood in the bathroom. I'll do something. And I was like, okay, right. But if we see blood, we're just gonna shoo it away. Like oh, that's nasty. Oh, I'm just gonna get a. Let me just push that off there. It's like ugh. That's why we have a very short living mortality rate there. And a lot of great moments. It's really a simple story about a man who bumps into immortality. It changes his whole life. Then it becomes his cocaine. And the other guy wants the cocaine because he's dying and he wants to live forever. Ron Perlman's caught in the middle. The grandma is caught in the middle. So is Aurora, the granddaughter. But the granddaughter is really cool. She only says one word. I think it's Puerto or Puerto. I don't even know. I don't even know. Or if you just say Muerto, I don't even know. My Spanish is not that good. Anyway, let me give a score for Cronos. I'm going to give it an A minus, actually. It's a very simple story, so I can't give it higher than an A minus. But um, there's some gothic themes. I do like the factory, the beer or water plant or whatever it is that Ron Perlman's in. It's a factory that's located next to the mansion. The scarab is scary. We see the inner workings, the gears and the cogs and everything that makes like this little engine of a scarab work. Okay, we see the ugly transformation. We pierce the skin a lot. Might be fake rubber skin, but it's real to me because it's just a lot of sticking needles into things. What is it? John Carpenter said you could chop off heads and lob off arms and do some gross shit with intestines, but sticking a needle in somebody is something that most people cannot bear when they watch a horror movie. So it's the most unbearable thing. It's probably true. There's a lot of puncturing of flesh and foreheads and tearing off skin, a lot of stuff like that. It literally gets bloody. It is a bloody movie. A lot of dark shit happens. I don't think it's merely horror because there's a whole fable, there's a whole message to it. So it's not strictly bad guy turns into a horror movie monster. It's a sad, passionate story that Guillermo del Toro told, and that was his first official movie. I'm not sure if the TV episodes that he did in 1988 are still there, are around to be found, but hopefully, if I can find it, we'll cover that. So it's Guadalajara, 1968. So this is where Guillermo del Toro was born, was raised. So how exactly did he get into filmmaking? Well, he got his dad's Super 8 camera and made a very simple movie using old school Planet of the Apes toys. The only one I've ever watched of Guillermo del Toro stuff is Pan's Labyrinth, which I'll review and probably talk about for Goth-Metal lore another time. This one quotes magic here. I cannot pontificate about it, but by the time I'm done, I would have done one movie and it's all the movies I want. People say, I like your Spanish movies more than like your English language movies because they are not as personal. I go, fuck, you're wrong. Hellboy is as personal to me as Pan's Labyrinth. They're totally different, and yes, of course you can like one more than the other. The other one may seem banal or whatever it is that you don't like, but it really is part of the same movie. You make one movie, Hitchcock did one movie all his life. Guillermo del Toro for Twitch Film. So that's his point of view there. His first movie was supposed to be a stop motion sci fi feature called Omnivore about a lizard man born in a savage land where everything tries to eat everything else. He and his team built sets and about 100 puppets over a 3-year period prior to filming. Vandals burglarized the studio one night and destroyed the puppets and sets, which put an end to his project as Del Toro decided to switch to a live action film, Cronos. Shit. Also, he's had a lifelong career doing so many wonderful, amazing things. He got to do Pinocchio. I would love to have seen. I wonder if there is a an art book. It's like what would he have done had he got to finish that one movie? And I'm hoping he can still try to do it. I mean, don't leave these things unfinished. And or death will be stranding for that movie. But anyway, so that's it. There'll be more on Saturday. We're going to do a crossover. We're going to do a crossover between Goth-Metal lore and Todd Toy News. What'll it be? Well, you saw a quarter of it a couple of weeks ago. I'm going to show you the other three, and that'll be on Saturday.